I don't know what it is about things just cannot be exactly the way we want them to be, and they just cannot be perfect, okay? The law in the universe just makes things unable to be perfect in exactly the way we want them, and unfortunately for us, the Wuthering Waves and Cyberpunk Collab are no different. Now, don't misunderstand, please. Obviously, we're eating really good in terms of the gameplay we're going to be looking forward to, in terms of the content we're going to be consuming. I feel like when you look at the track record of Kuro Games, I feel like it is a safe assumption to say that, yeah, we're gonna have a good time when it comes to the content that we're going to be getting through this collab. However, though, obviously, it is not enough for us gacha players. We need the content and the gacha to be on point for us to have a full package, because that's just the nature of the games we play, man. For crying out loud, it's time we buckle up and start purchasing our video games and try to take advantage of these free-to-play models. Unfortunately, the companies end up taking advantage of us, man. Only the Beishad and the very selected, disciplined few can really take full advantage of the free-to-play system. Looking at you, Casa TGV. But anyway, those are my boys over there in my community, in my Discord especially. Feel free to join us. It's quite, some cool individuals, not necessarily just gacha gamers, just a community. We enjoy gacha games, of course. Different ones at that, not just the ones I typically cover on the channel. Those happen to be the ones I enjoy the most. But we have all types of players and all types of people. Feel free to join in. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to not miss any updates.
I guess I better go subscribe to VXV Gacha.
But anyway, going back to the topic at hand, obviously, the predatory tactics introduced within the collab banner is something that a lot of people did not expect, especially when you base your expectations on what Honkai Star Rail has done in their collab when it comes to the gacha system. A lot of players expected that to be the same and behaved accordingly. I'm not gonna lie, if I knew that the way they were gonna go about doing the pulls, I would have used my corals beforehand rather than keeping them and spend them on the collab banner, because I will not be able to do that, and that is something I missed. I didn't think about it, but now that I think about it, it makes total sense why you will not be able to use your corals in your shop currently towards the Cyberpunk Collab banners, is because they have a whole new coral shop dedicated to that one specific banner, therefore blocking you from using them. However, though, if I'd known any better, I could have used the corals in the Denia banner, maximizing the efficiency of the corals, and use my asteroids on the Cyberpunk Collab, as it is the only resource. Well, of course, that and the other premium currency you can only purchase through real life purchases is the ones you can use towards the Cyberpunk Collab. And of course, you don't get to use your pity, which is also something we've seen in SSR. Not that big of a deal. If we're going to draw comparisons between SSR and Wuthering Waves collabs, which I feel like a lot of players are doing right now, it is only fair we do it in both ways, as in the gacha and the content. Because if there's one thing we can say for sure, Honkai Star Rail, in terms of content, even if you're an SSR fan, that was weird, and it just sucked. It was all over the place. It was just cringe-ass slop, where it just felt like they just had to self-insert the collab just urgently. I don't know. It felt half-baked, just weird as shit. All right, and it was bad. All right, it was bad, and that's kind of the sentiment a lot of players had towards SSR and collabs. Really, that's kind of the initial collab for these big gacha games we've seen. Oh, that and Aloy back in the day, but it doesn't really count in Genshin Impact, right? That don't count. Aloy doesn't exist. Just remove it from existence. But aside from the poor lackluster content, which I think Wuthering Waves is going to do the total opposite, we're going to have peak level of content. The gacha is slightly different, because SSR kept the regular formula we all know and the navigate. I don't think we love it, but we navigate it nonetheless. We're trying to swim, we're drowning, but we're swimming nonetheless. We're remaining afloat, kind of. We don't know how, but it's happening. But also, the incentive wasn't as strong as WUWA, and this is where it's kind of tricky depending on who you ask, because in SSR, the free character Archer, you can get his light cone if you spend 200 pulls within the collab time, and it's just a light cone. It's for a light cone. However, in WUWA, though, you get kickbacks on your pulls, which is nice. Obviously, it just eases you how much you get. but also it allows you to, if you lose the 50-50 and if you reach 160 pulls in the banner, which is the equivalent of 2 5-stars, if you reach pity, you get an S1 of your own choice, whether it's Rebecca or Lucy in any one of the collab banners. Typically, if you're pulling, you're going to get Lucy, and you can choose whether to S1 your Lucy or Rebecca, which is pretty cool. And if you win the early 50-50, and you can move all the way down to the S1, and hopefully you can get an S2 if you win the 50-50. And I know it would suck if you are to lose it. But what is really shocking people and really pissing a lot of people off is the fact that, one, you cannot convert the old currency you have towards the anniversary currency, because the anniversary collab event, because what pisses a lot of people off is you cannot use the old currency, the currency we all know and debatable whether we love it or not. You cannot convert that into the new currency that is specific to these collab banners. And that sucks, because if you had to save the 20 pulls from the anniversary that they gave you, planning to spend it here, I'm afraid you will not be able to use it. It doesn't go to waste, of course. There will be future characters you want. I'm eyeing Lucille, and I would not be surprised if after 3.4 we don't know much about the upcoming units after all this. So I'm very excited to see what kind of drip marketing they're going to be dropping for 3.5 and above, because this is now peak WUWA. I think it's time for a break. All right, can we ease off, because we just came out with Hayuki, Denia. Those are very sought after characters. I had to get both, and now there's Lucy and Lucille. Jesus, okay, here we go again. I'll get him. We just came out of Amieth and everything. Thank God for Sagrika. Shouts out to Sagrika. Bro, if it wasn't for her, none of this will be possible. Best unit ever. She sacrificed herself for us to even be able to look at all these units in our accounts, man. Huge shout out to Sagrika. Kind of a bit of a miss, because apparently she's very meta viable, but, well, hey, she didn't tick certain boxes, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, unfortunately, there seems to be some sentiments going on right now in the streets, where some people are calling out the predatory tactics and how it affected some of the excitement they may have towards the Cyberpunk collab. I think all in all, the consensus is people are very hyped to just be gamers first, but for all the let's just say, not too excited, not fully on a high because of what's about to come, they're a little skeptical on how they should feel about this. And this is why I'm making this video. I really want people to just have the right approach and not let this be something that upsets them. I may come off as a Kurobot in this, like I'm trying to defend this, but please understand that what I'm really trying to do is protect you from a negative, pessimistic approach towards this, where really I feel like it's just a matter of mindset and how we should go about this to best navigate and still get the excitement we want from this. Yes, it sucks to have to deal with a very predatory banner than we were used to. I made a whole video before this one where I go about the best strategy and how to approach this, especially as free-to-play. Because like, this is definitely a free-to-play problem, not much of a spender problem, to be completely honest with you. But for anybody that's free-to-play, yeah, I think that's a pretty important video for you to watch. And I understand how upsetting this may look, but we even have certain spenders like Life Lessons Gaming here, who happens to be a spender, still complaining about certain aspects of the banner. If we go over here, he goes, my two issues at this point with the collab consist of a nitpick and a disappointment. Nitpicks typically don't matter as much as disappointments, of course. I wish the banner lasted longer. That is something I can definitely agree with, because if you see my last video, you will see that as I was reviewing everything, one of the biggest thing that I thought about on whether or not this is going to be good or bad is definitely how long the banners last, because it enables you to keep saving pulls in order to take advantage of this, because we are unsure whether or not this is going to have reruns or not. Therefore, really emphasizing the FOMO, and really it makes us really want to have the ability to push every ounce of pulls we can get from the game towards it to make sure we get the characters. It's very important. This matters a lot, and this is of course because we will not be able to have our pity be used here, and will not be able to use our old currency towards this. Also, something else, I'm not sure if anybody called this out or not, but where the hell are the free 5 pulls and the free 5 standard pulls they typically give us in every patch. I mean, they replaced them with the ones in the event collab banners. I get that, but I mean, for fuck's sake, why can't we have those too? I mean, for crying out loud, what is this? But anyway, that's just something that just popped in my head here. And anyway, going back to what Life was saying, but I understand that's not necessarily something that should be expected. I'm going for S6R1 on both, and with less time, it makes it harder. Fucking based 100%, and this is from a spender nonetheless. It says a lot, because I never spent. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend why he will need more time. Maybe he needs, you know, a salary to come in as well, you know, go about it slow. I don't know why he needs more time. Pretty sure that's probably the case. But anyway, I think for many of us that see this, we don't have those issues. Anyway, going back to it, disappointment in line with my first statement. I'm not too happy with the fact that the Afterglow Coral I intentionally saved to make my S6 Rebecca Nusi possible won't be usable. What he's referencing, of course, is the fact that through corals, you can minimize how many pulls you need to spend to get the copies of the characters. As we all know, in the shop, instead of going all the way to pity, you can pay basically the equivalent of 45 pulls to get a copy of a character, which is just cheaper. It's like getting an early 45, all right? Which is pretty smart if you're going for copies. Most players, especially free-to-play players, don't go for copies, but that is the best approach if you want copies. That's what I did to get my E1 Mornier, for example, which I feel like is pretty smart. Of course, it's not like they will go to waste. I can still use them for later, but dang, I would have S2 or 3'd Hayuki if I knew I couldn't use or convert them. And therein lies the catch. I feel like this is where a lot of people are upset. It's a different approach. It's something we did not see coming, and the only thing we could base it on is SSR, and they just didn't do the same tactics there, and it just blows. All in all, collab looks amazing, but for the sake of being balanced, figured I should mention my current grapes. 100%. I mean, we're all excited. We all want to finally have fun with these characters and this universe, see the story and all that. But the fact of the matter is, like I said, when you look at the gacha games, you want to look at the content and the gacha to have a full positive experience for your players. That's just the way it is. And now, here's a little something, all right? This is a little bit of something on why I wanted to make this video. Now, obviously, these are fair criticism, and that's my criticism as well. But the more I thought about it, the more you just sit there and think for a second. It's something I already mentioned before. I'll just say it again. The fact is, this banner just have to be predatory when you really think about it. Kuro Games have to not only get a lot of revenue for itself, but also for CDPR. I don't know how the contract went. Maybe they've already paid them off and now they have to make their money back considering how much they spent in making these units. That's why they are more predatory. Or it's CDPR also, let's just say, taking a risk with them, and they're going maybe half-Z's or something on this. We don't know the percentages, etc. We don't know what type of contract they have, but one thing is for sure, I think it is safe to say that these characters may be the most expensive units the Kuro Games will be introducing in their game. CDPR is a huge studio. I'm pretty sure they want to keep that collaboration alive and want to make sure they get the most amount of profit from this, so that way CDPR can look at Kuro Games as a profitable collab. Therefore, they may want to do this again, maybe through reruns, or you know, maybe that's why I'm Kurobotting a little bit here. But I'm not necessarily Kurobotting. I think I'm just being fair, all right? I'm not a Hoyosho or Kurobot. Don't let no one tell you I'm either one of each. I'm not. I'm pro-consumer. I've always have been. Anybody that's familiar with my content knows exactly that. I don't know why I'm so misunderstood, but that's a video for another time. There's a little bit of a fanboy desire, but I want this collab to succeed, and I understand it, and I'm willing to tolerate it because I want it to succeed. Because if CDPR looks at Kuro being a very good company to collab with, maybe, now just maybe, we could get a Geralt of Rivia or Ciri, if not both, coming into the game. Now that, a free Geralt of Rivia and Ciri in the banner, because, you know, she's a female, man, oh man, or maybe Yennefer of Vengerberg. That would be fucking peak, a sorceress and Geralt of Rivia. God damn it. For fuck's sake. Can you imagine, bro? And I'm basing this, of course, on the fact that The Witcher 3 is having new DLC. So they're really looking again into The Witcher 3. CDPR is looking at The Witcher 3. Plus, we're having The Witcher 4 in the future. Now that, and also Geralt of Rivia fights monsters, echoes in Wuthering Waves are very, you know, they're a little bit of monstrosities. They really make sure they're monstrosities. And Geralt of Rivia is a monster hunter. That's right, man. We already seen Geralt of Rivia in Monster Hunter Wilds. I don't know. Maybe it's Monster Hunter. It's Monster Hunter. The brand, the video game Monster Hunter. We've seen Geralt of Rivia, Witcher 3, and Monster Hunter Collab because the thematics fit. And I think the thematics of echoes and monsters within Wuthering Waves fit the thematics of Witcher 3. I'm a Witcher 3 fanboy. Witcher 3 is my favorite game of all time. It is legendary masterclass level in gaming. You just look around. That really shaped how gaming is being done nowadays. When you look at The Witcher 3, it really was a meteorite that left a huge crater in the gaming sphere, and thank God for that. But yeah, that is my hopes as to why I'm kinda understanding, because they need to make big money to signal to now another company that's collaborating with them, in which both Kuro and CDPR can profit off this sentiment. Kuro can propulse itself to newer heights as a gaming company by pairing with a giant like CDPR, and CDPR of course has, well, it can finally put a little bit of its hand in the gacha sphere. They already have Gwent, which is a card game, and card games are by design gachas. Therefore, I think Witcher CDPR already has a gacha game, but I think now they have more eyes from the gacha sphere towards there, especially the classic free-to-play, non-mainstream player. All right, so this is my take, right? I'm obviously a little more in the middle, right? I'm obviously excited in terms of content. I will be logging in. I will be having fun. In terms of the gacha, there's obviously that shock factor. We're disappointed. Things are not going to go the way we thought we were. We thought we were slick. We thought we were smart, that we were going about our resources the smart way possible. It turns out it wasn't the case. Sag. But there is someone that is very happy, and I feel like it's time to throw some positivity in some of the pessimistic well, maybe it's not really being pessimistic. It's just that shock factor, that and the disappointment in our fear in being unable to get what we want through someone that is making a lot of waves, of course, in the Wuthering Waves community. The challenger for the number one Kuruba title, because they keep changing for some reason. I think sometimes it's him, sometimes it's Saints. I think it may be Gacha Smack again. And we're going to look at Gacha Smack, what he has to say, where he goes, "Thank you, Kuro Games, man. Holy Kurubat." And the reason why I say Kurubat and not Kurobot like that is because of him. That's how he says it. I think it's fucking hilarious. So I really wanted to include some of the positive vibes. Smack will be introducing the excitement. I think it's very important that we do not forget that even though the gacha isn't gonna be really it, the fact is we're gonna have amazing content. Well, Honkai Star Rail didn't have that for us, unfortunately. Maybe here we'll finally have that, because we look at the track record Kuro really delivers in terms of that particular part. And also, well, kind of forget about the whole disappointment and the slap in the face we got because of the predatory tactics they introduced within the collab banners. So without further ado, let's hear what Gacha Smack has to say. And also, Gacha Smack is the perfect candidate to speak on this because he's a quite seasoned gamer, a lot more than myself. And I feel like having takes of someone that is as seasoned and that knows exactly how these collabs go is very important input for us to take in, and hopefully can change our mindset. Again, the entire point of this video is just to invite you to have a different mindset and a different approach on how you go about viewing this collab altogether. So without further ado, let's hear what good old Gacha Smack has to say. I like to say it like that because he imitates Mr. Pokey in how he says it. It just comes off like that. So funny.
Boys and girls, I might sound a little bit muffled. That's because I was pog maxing this morning from the live stream.
Pog maxing is crazy.
I want to say from the bottom of my heart, Kuro deserves the glaze.
Holy Kurubat! Get this Kurubat off my screen. What the hell, man?
A lot of the times I know it can be cringe when people are glazing a game. It's like, oh my God, bro, relax. Take their meat out your mouth.
Get off that nigga dick, bro. What is you doing?
What the hell, man? You know what? All in all, I think I see where this is already going. Obviously, he's going to talk about the content, right? And I feel like that's really the meat. So the gacha is the fries, and we don't have the ketchup. So it sucks, right? But we can still take it. They're still fries. They're still okay. We just don't have that sweet ketchup.
actually is not getting enough praise for this Cyberpunk collaboration based off what we've seen in the 3.4 live stream. You know, for me, to deliver what I would regard a truly good collaborative experience is not just the gameplay of the characters, the intricacy of the characters, and how much fun you're having in the combat experience.
Absolutely.
It is also a story experience, which, to be fair, we have not consumed that just yet, but it's also immersing yourself inside of the world of that collab, and that involves accurate and high quality presentation of the world design.
Yep, and we know, looking at the track record, Kuro is probably gonna deliver on those.
This was something that I was kind of concerned about because, well, gacha games have a reputation of delivering subpar experiences when it comes to these elements of a collaboration experience, but Kuro knocked it out of the park. Now, we have a great reference point. I might have teased it to you in the thumbnail, but a lot of us have PTSD from the first Fate collab in HSR. They had this same amount of time, a 1 year period.
PTSD is a good term to use here. Yeah, I think it's fair to say we have a bit of PTSD. Oh yeah, because things did not go our way.
And I have just the video to take us right back down memory lane. But this is why I want to reference this and show you the difference in Kuro. And please, HSR fans, I'm not hating on HSR. It's kind of just funny. It's kind of also a bit of truth in there. I hope the second collab, they knock it out of the park and do a better job.
Oh, they have to. Man, if they fumble that, that's it. That is it, man. That is it. I'd be so pissed because I'm reviving. Well, I'm not. My man Happy, shouts out to my boy. We're reviving our HSR account. Our account. Yeah. But we're reviving our account, and I'll be very disappointed if the experience is subpar like the first time. I hope they listen. I hope they deliver at least a 7 to 8 out of 10. Like, of course, they're not gonna knock it out of the park because when you look at the track record, it's not the same as Kuro. Like, we're not that confident, but I'm pretty sure they can do a solid 7 to 8. All right, you know, certainly, right? Certainly.
But gameplay wise, HSR did their thing with the clap characters.
Because here's the thing, I really want to go back to HSR. I do. Why wouldn't I want another free-to-play game in my roster? Why wouldn't I? Like, duh, of course. I would love for HSR to make a strong comeback, but fuck. I need to feel more at ease. I need to really feel like the PTSD that I got from it is gone. And I need some strong content, some good, well-polished, some devs listened in the content for me to be able to get over that PTSD I have from the power creeping, the lack of good content. It's just, you know, they have to win us over. They'll have to win us back. And I want them to. I'm like that guy that really want to get back with their ex, but please just show me that there's good positive changes, please. And I would love to get you back, but I need to see there's certain change, or else it'll just activate my PTSD when I see the same behavior that made me quit the first day. I hope that makes some sense.
Story-wise, presentation-wise, representation-wise, in the story, in the world design, let's face it, that shit was ass. It really was. Before we get into it, though, a word from our sponsor. Ethereum Restart has always been about strategical turn-based PvP, and
Ethereum Restart,
making the smart plays combined with their build system is the core focus of the game. Well, a brand new tactical imprint system was introduced with their current Season 4 update with the sole focus of expanding upon that strategical depth.
It's a card game.
Restart. Now, the good news is each imprint is actually shareable across all your enemies, giving consistent passive traits that shape how they perform. You can customize them further with 4 sockets, slotting components to directly boost your offensive power, your defensive resilience,
so that's like
or
the
even
gear
your vitality.
system.
And yes, speed is included. Now, you might be wondering, how do I even access the system? Well, good question. Everything is progressed and crafted through the new hyperkernel factory system. All you got to do is gather resources, level up your imprints, experiment.
All these words and stuff. I don't know what that is.
Layers to the strategy of the PvP experience. You can tailor your squad strength a bit more precisely, adapt to different matchups, and create builds that reward smart plays. It's not about a one-size-fits-all power. It's about giving you
it's like HSR
components and deepen the tactical experience that Ethereum.
Merely, this looks good. Wait, done, huh?
The imprint system is live now in Season 4. Once again, the design of it is to expand upon the strategical depth of PvP.
This looks good. Wait, is that a PvP? This is PvP, right?
Or the pinned comment in the comment section to download Ethereum Restart now. Thanks Ethereum Restart for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. Now, I made my video on this a very long time ago. 10 months ago, probably more closer to 11 months. It just doesn't say it until it actually hits 11 months. 65,000 views, 1 year for this about the Fate collab. Guys, this, you might have seen this meme before.
What is it?
And I pulled it up. How is this possible? Why am I in Britain? You might have seen this meme
remember
before.
this.
You probably don't even know what the hell it means.
Yeah.
Maybe you're like,
this was everywhere.
Gacha sphere a little bit later on and you saw this floating around and you're like, I don't get it. This meme came it came from this. Well, not my original video, although
Basically, the players looked at this. It's the Finon region, another character's main story quest during the Fate collab. It was the end of the main story quest for that particular version. It was 3.0. Wait, was it 3.0? Yeah, it was 3.0. It was the end of the main story quest there. Finon was a very popular character, and in his story, you go back in a flashback of where his hometown, and it really looked similar to where Saber took you to what is supposed to be her own hometown as well. It also looked a little bit like WUWA when you look at the colors over here. If you played Genshin Impact, the second region, the land of Geo, if you remember, it was pretty yellowish like that. It reminds us a lot of Liyue, which is where this entire sentiment came from. Because, oh, this is Britain? No, that's not Britain. That's Liyue. You're in China. What are you talking about?
I was one of the first people to go in on it. It came from the Fate Stay Night collab the first time around. And the problem with that collab, which I want to show you this one more time. This is a Genshin Impact
there it is.
character inside of an actual Genshin Impact map. And I remember when I made the video shitting on the collab, I was talking about how it looked like they just took some Mondstadt and Liyue assets and called it Great Britain, which is where Saber's from. Inside of this collab, this area is Saber from Fate Stay Night going back to Great Britain. But when you look at this, and I'm playing it in a fast-paced mode, when you look at this, it literally just looks like HSR bar Genshin Impact assets and put it inside of here and called it Great Britain. Which, I mean, the whole, almost unanimously, there's always going to be those people who try to like cope. Almost unanimously, the entire HSR community shitted all over this.
1,000,000%. Nobody liked this. It felt sloppy. It felt just... they just made whatever and just shoved it in our face like an unhappy wife. We no one liked that shit. No one liked that shit. It was so bad. Like I said, the only good part about the collab was definitely the characters. One could argue, well, considering how low the bar is now because of how Predatory Kuro made their own collab banners, but we understand now because, you know, CDPR, big name, big title in the gaming sphere especially, they really want to knock it out of the park. They're probably the most expensive units they have to include in the game. It is what it is, right? We understand the Corpa is the reason why they have to. We understand the Corpa, and it's up to us to navigate. It doesn't mean it feels good, doesn't mean we're not going to speak out on it and say, hey, yo, this kind of sucks over here. But the fact of the matter is, I feel like we have an easier time tolerating it once we understand the reason why that behavior is happening.
To make matters worse, there was lack of voice acting lines from Saber.
Oh, fuck. There was the VCs.
There was no voice acting lines. Now, to be fair, at this point, there was a SAG after strike ongoing.
There it is,
kind of gotten in the way of that, more than likely. And so the VAs literally were not working for, their own reasons and all.
You had to play in Japanese. And if you play Saber and you play her, she doesn't say Excalibur in English. You don't. It was so bad, dude. It was so bad. Like, that strike, thank God for... You know what? I'm just not going to say it. But you already know what I'm going to say. Some people's jobs need to be lost when they're that much of douchebags.
This here was the entirety of the Great Britain or the Fate World collab experience. Sitting inside of this area, talking to Saber, and in the background, you run around this little area for a little bit. It shows off this. The presentation is so booty cheeks, and you call it a day. This was the collab experience. And it gave a lot of people PTSD. Gave a lot of us PTSD. So when I take that into consideration, I need you guys to understand that going into the Wuthering Waves collab, where you guys get spoiled with the story presentation of WUWA being a 10 out of 10 experience.
There it is.
Top of the line quality, beautiful presentation, left, right, up, down. But it's still something that you have to remind yourself how much work, effort, love, care, and attention is going into this stuff and being brought into you. All you got to do is use that as a baseline, right?
An argument could be made because of this. Quality always costs more. That's just a rule of life. And because of that, well, since you're getting quality in this game, in this IP, well, their stuff is going to cost a little higher. Now, of course, we don't want them to understand this, and we don't want them to start applying this to be very specific, all right? Because we're the target demographic, and the target demographic is used to this type of approaches in terms of predatory tactics, right? But an argument could be made in fairness, because look, I'm not trying to be a kudu bat here, but the fact is, this is obviously higher quality than anything Hoyo has presented in terms of collaborations. Hoyo is the biggest gacha company we have right now. The fact is, Kuro is obviously providing us a better service, a better quality content, whether we like it or not. The fact of the matter is, the more quality, the better the quality, the higher the price. I'm sad to say it, but it's just true.
So take that in mind. And then I pull up first reveal of the Night City. Look at how, just look at how high quality this is, guys. It isn't just an area where you talk to Lucy in this one spot with the Night City in the back, and then that's it. Immersive experience as minimal as possible. They went all out, man. Now, it might not be a whole new region, which would be insane, but this is like,
that'd be crazy.
It's looking like it's going to be a Sonarosphere. They called it a Samoir.
Just a small map.
This is a real Night City experience. Some of this stuff is a one-to-one from the anime, and it even looks better. Like, it's crazy how much they went in.
Dude, the game engine for WUWA, I understand why the optimization is so hard for them. Like, because you compare this to Genshin, NTE, what have you, the level of polish and quality is just way up there, man. It's just way up there. I love Wuthering Waves for that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend. I feel bad for the players, the mobile players that cannot play this, but the reality is it's supposed to be next gen. And because it's next gen, unfortunately, you need to keep up with next gen. We knew this since PSX, PS2, PS3 days, Xbox 360 day. I mean, especially if most people had the PS2 that was peak gaming. If you know, you know. And then Xbox 360 and PS3 was just insane. And the transition there was very hard for many because we were younger, we didn't have a lot of money. And we know the struggles, man. We know, but that's just the way the world is, that we understand how the gaming world is. And if you cannot evolve with it, you can either cope with what you have or level up. Try and level up. You find avenues in how you to level up. That's just the way things are. There's cloud gaming. I highly encourage people to try out cloud gaming. You can just, even in my laptop can't really make Wuthering Waves work properly. But through cloud gaming, I can just play.
On this Night City map design. And I am confident that it's probably going to be permanent. We'll make another video when the 3.4 live stream goes live, and I get to experience the full-blown story in full. But just by the looks of what they're showing off here, you go in here, there's already seems to be so many different places that you can visit. They've even, later on in the stream, they show off cyberpunk activities and elements, such as, like, you know, hacking systems with Lucy's ability to, like, spirit walk, or it's I forget what it's called. I always forget what it's called. Devastan, it's a Devastan. You know what I'm talking about. Look how good Lucy looks. Fully voice acted. They've got freaking Adam Smasher in here. They've got Rebecca in here. And then they're going to be showing, and they even teased a little David action with the moon. It's like,
I would not be surprised if they do a second part like SSR did and they introduce David. I would not be shocked if that were to happen. I would love for that to happen, but I'm voting for a Witcher 3 collabs. Can we get that, please? I'd really appreciate it.
brother, but look at this. Look at how good this shit looks.
I know.
We went, brother, we're going from this. Why am I in Great Britain, brother? From this to this.
Exactly. And again, I hate to say it, better quality equals better price. / we want to encourage the big developers like CDPR to look at something like with like Kuro Games, and again, you know, try and invest with them, and you know, really collab with them in trying to provide us, the players, with some kick-ass collaborative content like this one. That'd be freaking fantastic. I don't know about you, but I think that would be great.
I mean, shit, bro. I don't mean to, you know, shove the meat down the throat of Kuro Games, but they deserve the glaze here.
Absolutely, 100%, and that's what I said too. Whether we like it or not, the fact is, there's real quality here. It is. It's just amazing. Yes, the predatory tactics suck, but one, you know, it's dangerous to say out loud. It's a brave take, but is it not worth it once in a while if we get to have kick-ass shit like this? Is it not worth it? No, I would say it's worth it. You know, now we know how they function. We'll operate better for the next one. We'll be fine. We fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
This looks extraordinary. Look, it keeps going. It keeps going. They've got a John Wick Easter egg in the back over there.
John Wick? The man that killed the man in the bar with a pencil? With a fucking pencil? That John Wick? I'm a huge fan of the John Wick series. If I see it, I'm about to flip. I can't make it out from here. But what the hell, boy? If I see that, I'm about to lose my shit.
It doesn't get, actually, well, I'm not gonna say it doesn't get better than this, but they knocked it out of the park in terms of a representation experience. And so, you know, to finish this video off, I just want you guys to understand that it's important that we acknowledge when companies are actually accurately representing the collab you've been waiting on for an entire year. It's not just the gameplay from Rebecca and Lucy. It's not just the fact that we're getting Adam Smasher as a fight, which, don't be real, that shit is amazing. It's more than that. Because another thing that's important about these collabs is that you're connecting the players of each individual or respective community to the collab IPs, right? We're trying to get the Cyberpunk people to like WUWA. We're trying to get the WUWA people to go and watch Cyberpunk anime.
Yes.
And to do that, it involves the devs accurately portraying the product and 100% to the most of their capabilities.
Which SSR failed, unfortunately. I hope they knock it out of the park this time around, but their first time that, I don't think we want to remember our first. Yeah, I don't think we want to remember our first. They say you never forget your first, but I feel like we want to forget about it.
Anyways, I just wanted to make this video because I think there's probably people who aren't really fully understanding the level of quality that they're getting in that night.
There it is, yes.
Versus the level of quality Kuro Games could have very well have given you, and people would have just ate it up anyways. This is why you have annoying glaze about Kuro Games all the time. And trust me, I understand it. It does get annoying sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, bro, this level of glaze is unwarranted, bro. Y'all gotta relax.
It's not just the glaze, it's the defending of predatory tactics. That's so crazy to me. Like, people are defending the 50-50 still. What the hell, boy?
This is not one of those moments. I think this is something that
they literally be giving you the argument, how are they supposed to make money? Bro, what? What are you saying?
Is exemplary of why Kuro Games has the reputation they have. A lot of people had said this about the PGR collab with DMC. They said it was a fantastic knockout.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. PGR is huge with the DMC collab, and Kuro knocks it out of the park. So we have an even stronger track record when you look at Kuro and collabs, not just for Kuro and how they present content in withering ways, but also previously done collabs in old games like PGR, still knocking it out of the park. Very important to keep in mind. Huge, solid track record. I think you're going to go in here and you're going to have one hell of a good time if you play the Cyberpunk collab in Withering Waves. You will. It comes at the cost of the gacha, but I would say, again, proper mindset. This is just Corpa being Corpa. They got to do this. They got to, it's for the future collabs and to make sure this one works well, right? It's also investment. And plus, the higher the quality, the more it's pricey. That's just the way of the world.
Collab. And so now Kuro Games has solidified themselves as a company that when they announce a collab with an IP, you bet your ass they're going to deliver it to you with this level of quality. That's going to wrap up this video. You guys comment down below. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Peace, love, and happiness. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Oh, we appreciate you, baby. We appreciate you. So yeah, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's the gacha kind of sucks, but I feel like ultimately this is just the way of the world. It's a good reminder. And all in all, it's a matter of mindset, especially. I feel like as long as we keep a proper mindset and a proper approach, and we don't let this detail about the gacha and the shock factor about the gacha really get in the way of how we go about tackling and consuming the content, to not be pessimistic towards it. It will only ruin you and your gaming experience as a whole, because you can take away what should be a great moment and a great gaming experience and just ruin it for yourself because of a bad mindset. Because all in all, it's just a banner. It doesn't necessarily matter. It's whatever. Reruns could happen too. It's whatever, man. It's whatever. Let's not just make it more than it should be and try to have fun, which I feel like is the most important thing to do, and navigate it accordingly. I feel like there are ways to properly navigate this. It's not going to be as gambling addicting, as consumer friendly in terms of consumer mentality and how people want things day one. They want things now. You want to be patient. You want to be strategic about this new form of banner, a new form of predatory tactics in these unique banners. Well, I hope they don't remain unique, but we'll see how that goes in the future. So yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Be seeing you.